He then joins his unit as they honor the fallen soldiers. Weeks after his deployment, Charles returns home to happily reunite with Dana and see his infant son for the first time. The movie begins in 2007, when a single mother, Dana Canedy, was a senior editor at the New York Times, balancing her work time while raising her infant son, Jordan. One day, her boss, Schaefer, tells her to work on her story with a competing journalist, Rosenblum, much to her protest. She receives counsel from her co-worker, Miriam, who is sympathetic to her plight. She returns home defeated, taking comfort in seeing Jordan in the crib. At night, she struggles to sleep, forcing her to rummage through a box of items belonging to her late husband, Charles. She tearfully reads a page of his journal to Jordan before getting her laptop to write him a heartfelt letter. It is spring 1998. A recently single Dana is visiting her family in preparation for her U.S. Army decorated father, Sergeant T.J. Canedy's, birthday celebration in 2 days. After a lovely family dinner, she joins her siblings, Mike and Gwen, to smoke a joint while catching up on their lives apart. The next day, she returns to her family home. She meets First Sergeant Charles Monroe King, who is finishing her father's pointillism painting as a birthday treat. Dana is immediately smitten by the handsome soldier, following her father's advice to make an excuse to hitch a ride back to her hotel to get acquainted. Once there, the pair talk by the poolside, with Charles confessing he is finalizing his divorce papers with his estranged wife. He admits her parents have been a comfort to him during his struggles. Though Dana is surprised by his revelation, she sympathizes with him, letting him know she is single. She then agrees to let him pick her up in the morning from the hotel. The next day, Charles arrives at her door as Dana realizes she overslept. Gathering her composure, she hurriedly prepares to go with him for breakfast. They eat at a local diner, where Charles discusses his love for serving in the military. Feeling curious, Dana enthuses about his love for art, inviting him to come to New York and see paintings by Monet. He takes up her offer while implying he will also visit her after feeling infatuated. Later, at the sergeant's birthday party, Dana's family feels delighted with the pair's growing romance. Charles excuses himself, leaving early to drive to Texas and see his daughter, Christina. 3 weeks pass, and Dana continues her work in New York as an up-and-coming journalist. Charles reconnects with her one night via phone call, updating her on the finalization of his divorce. He lets her know he is ready to take the next step in getting to know her deeply, despite his obligations to his daughter. Dana then stops typing and moves on. 2 years later, in 2009, Dana celebrated her birthday with Jordan at home, serving cupcakes. Curiously, she notices her son playing peekaboo with his day, peering out the window to see red balloons fly by. Overcome with emotion, Dana unearths her late husband's old photos, including one showing him playing with Jordan while holding red balloons. She then feels compelled to continue typing the story while listening to music. Some time passes as Dana and Charles grow closer, talking on the phone about each other's respective jobs. While at the Army base, Charles opens up about his failed marriage, feeling he and his ex-wife rushed into building a family at an early age, with the only positive income being his daughter. Dana would later confide in him about her father's affair with another woman after feeling forced into marrying her mother when she was born. The pair also discusses hobbies, as she discovers Charles is a gym rat. Soon after, Dana meets her friends at a bar, where they enthuse and approve of her blossoming romance with the sergeant. The day arrives when Charles takes her up on her invitation to visit New York and spend time with her. While Dana is busy with her work, she lets him wait inside her apartment, allowing the building attendant, Manny, to give him the keys. After her shift, she excitedly reunites with him, and they spend the evening on a dinner date. While enjoying food, Charles leans in for a kiss, which Dana reciprocates. They walk home feeling smitten with each other as they exchange smooches. Upon returning to the apartment, Dana lets him rest. At the same time, she takes a shower and dresses in an appealing nighttime attire, hoping to share a bed with him. Her assumption proves correct as Charles joins her in the bedroom and makes out with her before sleeping. The next morning, she becomes even more attracted to him as she discovers him doing push-ups shirtless next to her bed. They leave to explore the city park, resting on a bench while eating. The pair, undeniably in love, return home to make love, but Dana asks him to wait while she secretly shaves her legs to look more appealing. The pair then have passionate intimacy, affirming their feelings for each other. The next day, Dana takes Charles to see his first Monet painting up close at the art museum, something he truly feels grateful for. 6 months later, around Christmas, Dana gifts Charles a luxurious suit as he prepares to return to active duty soon. Though he feels touched by her gesture, he offers to pay half for it and requests that he continue wearing his treasured old sneakers. The pair later hosts a lively Christmas party at the apartment, where Dana tells her friends that Charles wants them to become a couple. After the celebration, she later admits to him that she is holding back her answer due to her commitment to her career and his military service. Charles pauses and intimately asks her to be his girlfriend, hoping she will trust him to make their relationship work no matter what. Dana relents and makes love to him in the bedroom with her window blinds open. The next morning, Charles prepares to leave for the army, leaving Dana a mixtape CD filled with love songs and a gift for Manny, the attendant, who has become his friend. Dana suggests that he retain some of his new apparel in the apartment, implying she wants him to move in with her one day. Dana later informs Charles that she has been promoted to editor at the New York Times. However, her future at the company will depend on delivering an outstanding news story about race in America. She later flies to Akron, Ohio, to meet while he is training with his squad. Unfortunately, her efforts get wasted as Charles does not show up on the intended day. He calls her the next morning, feeling guilty for not showing up due to his young colleague's wife's labor. Dana is immediately suspicious that he is covering up the fact that he sees another woman and hangs up. After returning to New York and resuming her work life, Charles invites himself to her apartment to surprise her and apologize for not telling her about his other responsibilities before she arranged a meet-up. Believing she feels he is a reflection of her father's mistakes, he promises that she is the only woman for her and that nothing will stop him from truly loving her. While he does her pedicure at night, Dana asks Charles, who is religious, if he has ever killed someone during his military service abroad. Though he does not answer directly, he states that he is obligated to protect and serve, implying he has taken lives to achieve success in missions. Charles reflects on this during one of the training exercises he administers with a group of young recruits. Sometime later, in 2001, the World Trade Center was attacked by terrorists who hijacked 2 commercial airlines. Dana and Charles immediately check in with each other, wishing to be safe from danger. Sometime in 2018, a teenage Jordan returned home from school bruised after bullies called him racial slurs and teased him about his father. Dana reveals to him Charles' journal, asking him to read through it to answer his questions about growing up and learning lessons through his dad's notes. Afterward, she celebrates her birthday with coworkers, receiving a vibrator gift from Miriam to alleviate her sexual needs. Later in the evening, Jordan requests that he visit his half-sister Christine more often, as Charles has always wanted him to be closer to her. Amid their conversation about him, Dana reveals she was never officially married to Charles, brought about by his tireless service going back and forth to Iraq following the September 11 attacks. During his time overseas, Charles asks her to marry him as Dana pleads with him to make her pregnant. Sometime later, Dana gets persuaded by Jordan and Miriam to go see his father's memorial. During the plane ride, she reminisces about her pregnancy, discussing important matters with Charles as he prepares to settle their finances while he is abroad. To ease her worries, she gives him a journal designed for new fathers so he can write things to his son. As Jordan questions her about why his father did not see him during his birth, Dana remembers that Charles could not go home due to his deployment in the Iraq War, which hurt her. When she went into labor at the hospital, Charles wrote about loving and respecting the women surrounding him, teaching him that beauty is in the eye of the beholder and that real beauty comes from deep inside. He then joins his unit as they honor the fallen soldiers. Weeks after his deployment, Charles returns home to happily reunite with Dana and see his infant son for the first time. He reveals he has contracted asthma at night since the military base is near a power plant. Hoping to ease her worries, he agrees to Dana's proposal of a big wedding. The next day, he surprises her with a picnic at the park, gifting her a bottle of extra virgin olive oil. Later, while playing peekaboo with Jordan in his stroller, Dana notices him flinching when a helicopter passes. Eventually, Charles prepares to disembark for Iraq, leaving Dana flowers in his drawings. She makes him promise to return in time for their wedding. Sometime after arriving in Washington, D.C., Dana and Jordan visit the Lincoln Memorial, where the curious boy asks his mother to be honest with him about his dad's cause of death. Dana shares that Charles was part of the U.S. Army's 1st Battalion, 67th Armed Regiment, stationed at the Triangle of Death Zone. On October 14, 2006, he led the Charlie Company on a mission where they had to resupply a military hotspot called the Island. At 10:38 a.m., while traveling to the area, their convoy gets ambushed by insurgents in a place called Jurf al-Sakr. Charles gets severely injured in the chest, dying on the ground holding Dana's picture. At the same time, a squadmate frantically tries to revive him. A while after the incident, Dana receives the news about his death and becomes distraught, getting comforted by her friends, who were arranged to visit and comfort her in case Charles passes away. Dana reminds Jordan that, despite the ongoing war, Charles remained dedicated to fighting for his soldiers. The next morning, she sees Jordan following his father's advice to work out and stay fit. They then head to the memorial park, where her family and friends surprise her after receiving an email from Jordan, who arranged the event. The young boy then tearfully reads a page from Charles' journal about family and fighting for love. Private Imhoff and Muhammad appear and hand Dana a burial flag, which she passes on to Jordan. After praying for Charles, everyone gathers at the hotel and honors the fallen soldier at an altar with his photos and medals. To this day, Jordan and Dana continue to reside in New York. After leaving the New York Times, she joined Simon & Schuster, eventually becoming vice president and publisher, with her memoir becoming an all-time bestseller. The movie ends with Jordan receiving a leadership award at school for his outstanding character, and still reads the journal regularly. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this to help the channel out. Have a nice day.